Welcome to the JAMODI podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. What's the best thing that you've borrowed lately?
All right, I'm sure you're the same way. You get inundated with emails from different coaching sites and different newsletters and whatnot. But I look at these and got onto one that Cody Topper from Memphis was talking about, and it was a 5-out, video, and then talking about transition. And one point he had that I thought was really good was talking about your big man, your rim runner. So his point was, we all say we want to run rim run. How many times do you actually convert a rim run into a layup or a dunk or whatever? And he said, more often than that, you just run down there with the defender and clog the lane. So his coaching point on that was with those guys at Memphis is they teach them that, yes, if you're ahead, continue to rim run. Hopefully you can convert. If your man's ahead of you, pull up at the 3-point line and come set a drag screen for the guy bringing up the ball, especially if your man's sitting in the lane, because defensive coaches sprint back to the paint, right? And if that man's sitting in the lane and you come set a drag screen, you're basically in a 2-on-1 situation with a real good ball handler and playmaker. So we started playing with that a little bit, and I've been getting my bigs to do that, and we've had some real good success early on in the season so far with that. And it makes all the sense in the world to me. I don't know why I haven't really grasped that concept before, but we've kind of latched onto it and had some really good success with
it. Those moments are special when you've been doing something for so long, and you're right. You said something at the beginning. We all get those emails. We all hear of new things. And a guy, one guy I was talking to made a comment. He's like, you can't do it all. You can't try it all. You can't listen to it all. And so you choose and you be very selective of those things. But that point that Cody made, I think right on the money. Like we've been having rim runners for so long for the sake of having a rim runner, maybe because it's how we were coached, or we heard some really smart people do it. But I don't know. I've asked that same question. How many times do I actually get from passing it up the floor, a finish right off of that rim run?
Well, and who's usually a rim runner? It's a big man who's rebounding around the basket on the defensive end. He's got to run 94 feet. It doesn't happen as often as we would hope or we would like.
And we want that ball. Most offenses, the goal is to get the ball to the paint, to that area where you're going to force defenses to have to choose, and you can find things out of it. So when you have that rim runner, you're right. Not just the defender being there, another body being there that congests it, and then good guards that want to be playmakers can't. But you have that guy slow down to set that ball screen, and all of a sudden now guarding ball screens is hard enough. Trying to guard in transition, that's just a whole other animal too.
And then if he's skilled enough, and our big guys can do it to some degree, they can do a ghost screen and hit a three. They can do a twist screen and mix it up what they do up at the top. And so it puts pressure on the defense. It really does.
Just because of all your experience and success, what are some other things that maybe you had always done and then just for some reason figured it out or read or heard something and made a shift that you thought, like you said before, man, I don't know why we didn't do this a long time ago?
Matt, I have totally changed my philosophy in the last 3 years. I went to, I had taken 1 year off. I was at Cistercian for 20 years in Irving, went down to Houston Christian for 5, and then took a year off, came back up here to the Metroplex, which is what I consider home. Was very blessed to inherit a talented team at John Paul my first year. And I went to a coaching clinic before the season and heard David Peeler from Highland Park speak. And David's awesome. And I stole a lot from David. And he recommended a book called Sprawl Ball, and really got me thinking about the analytics of the game, the efficiency of the game, and just started working with my guys on that. And kind of just changed the way that I coach and change the way we approach the 3-point shot and change the way we space the floor. I've been, for the longest time, I was a traditional 2 in, 3 out guy. we for a long time I ran the Kansas Bill Self high low and had some success, but the game's changed a lot in the
Yeah.
last even the last 5 years from the top down. And so, I got a lot out of that. And then I had a team that was very talented that could execute that style of play. And 2 years ago, we led the state in scoring. We went 40-1 and won the state championship, and it was great. And I was sold. But the old saying of can't teach an old dog new tricks, it did not apply. I'm 52 years old, and I've totally changed the way I coached in the last 3 years.
And I think it's really smart the way that you have adapted and changed your game to the talent that you have, playing in space and giving them options and room to be creative. Like, man, that makes a lot of sense.
There's a real method to the madness. Some people think, coaches that kind of give their guys some creative freedom aren't really coaching, and I totally disagree. I mean, you have to be confident in what you do in practice, in your strategies that you have and your plan, and then you got guys that can play. You got to let them play.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to deal with that sometimes. I have a point guard right now that can throw an 80-foot pass with his left hand, and he'll fire it down the court, and he'll fit it in a window 6 inches, and it results in a layup. He made one turnover in a game Saturday night, and he said, "Coach, my bad, my bad." I said, "No, you're 9 out of 10 on that for 18 points. Let's go ahead and keep doing that."
Yeah.
You got to allow them to make some mistakes and grow, and it's going to pay off in the long run because they're going to be able to act independently on their own on the court and do what they do. And if they're talented players, they're going to succeed.
Yeah, I think you have a really special culture there when you've got guys that are making mistakes, acknowledging them, but then they know that you're going to reinforce that confidence, like you're going to help protect their confidence in a way, because so many times we, as coaches, people think it's our job to give players confidence, and yes and no. I mean, confidence comes from where their work ethic and how much time they put in. But then when you come in as, hey, I know you can make that pass, fire it again.
Yes.
That's huge.
Better not pass it up when you get the next opportunity. That's right.
I love that. You mentioned Peeler's name. So when I was at McKinney as a varsity assistant, me and Wes Watson had the pleasure of getting to play against Highland Park's teams. And golly, he's so great. I reached out to him to come on, and he is one of the most humble guys I've ever met, and said, "Matt, I just don't know if I've got anything or that if anybody would care." Well, you're living, like, he helped you to change your style of play even after all of years. So David Peeler, if you do happen to listen, we'd love to have you on.
I've told him, we've played him the last 2 years, and I've told him, hey, we credit to you for a lot of the stuff we do. He gave a bunch of drills for 3-point shots at that clinic that I've stolen and used, and our kids love them. And we keep records and we compare, and from year to year to year, and it's just I got a lot from him, and he is one of the most humble coaches you'll ever run across, but he's brilliant.
And we're going to get him on. I think because of you right there, we'll get him.
My part to push him that direction.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.